Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about electricity. Welcome to Business Corner. So, today, electricity is going to be my topic. Last week, I spoke about working with partner, looking for somebody to work with. Instead of locking your ideas up, look for a friend, look for a family member, look for business partner, look for somebody to share your idea with and work together in realizing your dream. Today, I'm going to be talking about electricity. Oh, Nigeria. Electricity is one of the most challenging things to deal with when doing business in Nigeria. So, my advice, when you go through a process of things, you have enough evidence or you have enough experience to kind of tell somebody else or to give out to somebody else that is about to start something or that is thinking about starting. So, today I'm going to talk about electricity. So for those big companies, it might be easy for them because they have the money, they already plan for it, they don't have any problem, or they have their own challenges. Yes, every company, every business have its own challenges. But for the big companies that already budgeted money aside to deal with such things, they can manage. But for small businesses that haven't planned anything aside for electricity, the only thing that they have planned for is generator. So that can be very, very challenging and difficult. All depends on the kind of business you want to open. If you want to open any small office or those kind of things, oh yeah, maybe you can manage. But if you want to open something that is constantly needing electricity, then you really need to think fast. You really need to really think deep in a look into it. So electricity is really, really a big factor, something to look at because that's what break your business. That's what some people can just close down after the stress of electricity. They just lock and that money is just being wasted. So we have to think about that. So my advice, due to what we have experienced at number 39 Sokpomba Road, due to our own experience of electricity, I will have to give out a few advice when you thinking of renting a location for your business, or you're thinking about opening small industry, or you're thinking about producing small things that might need electricity. So my first advice is that when you're renting a place, find out what was there before and find out how much they were receiving as NEPA bill from before. So you have to find out those things. So if, for example, where you're renting is a bank or is a big industry that was there before or something that was really, really having a kind of agreement with the NEPA people and all those story, you have to think twice. You have to think about how you're going to just start everything afresh. Whether you are applying for a meter, you are going to apply for anything you want to apply for, then you have to think. Because if you take the risk of enriching what those people left behind and said, oh, they tell you, don't worry, this meter is solid, just continue from there. And it's going to be according to what you use. My advice to you is that don't go for that. Don't go for that because Nigeria have a way of making you go for something that you might regret later. So don't go for such things. Start afresh and go in with your own meter. Apply for your own meter. Follow your own due process and have your own thing. Because if you go into that the agreement of okay, for example, in our case, a bank was there before and they tells you, don't worry, the bank here that was bank. You are not going to be paying as much as bank. Just don't worry about it. Just accept the meter, work with it. This is a very good meter, it's solid and all, and you go with that. At the end of the day, the truth is that you're going to be getting the bills and every payment that the bank was paying before. Everything that they were doing before, that is what they are going to send to you because they don't really have any way to differentiate what you're using now and before. They already have an estimated bill on that meter that they were giving out. They will continue to give you that same bill. Whether you're using up to the bank or you're using it up to the company that was there before or you're using up to that particular person that was doing a business there before or not, they are going to give you that bill. So my advice to you is to start afresh with your own meter, with your own plans, with your own, start afresh so that it's totally new. So that is that part. Then my second advice is that, when we plan for business, everybody's planning a business, especially in a place like Nigeria where there is no electricity. The only alternative we often think about is a generator. That's what we all have in mind. Okay, we buy generator to cover up the part when the electricity is gone. Since there's no stable electricity, we talk about generator. But at the end of the day, it's not still easy to manage generator. And the other thing is that you really have to know how what you are using to be able to buy generator. So if you buy a bigger generator and you think, for example, you said, oh, I'm going to do more things here, and you buy bigger generator, the expenses might be too much for you. So my advice would be, if you're thinking about buying generator to cover it, I think you should also think solar. Instead of investing all the money on generator for like in our case, I will have to explain to give you. That's why I said, when you've gone through something, you have gathered enough experience to know what you could have been what you could have done. So with our own that have taken place, we now have an idea how how we could have been able to avoid a lot of things. So you learn gradually. So it's always good that people that have gone through that process, they always give advice out for new people that are coming in, so that they know how to manage themselves, not to fall into what you fell into. So it's really, really good telling people, this is what I experienced, my experience, especially the kind of experience that can help people when it comes to business. So like this, if I like us, we got a generator which was about 3 point something million, for example. Yes, 3 point something million. So, and we are going to use that with the normal electricity. So at the end of the day, and we also make the wrong choice of also buying a bigger generator, because we believe that we're going to do more things there in the future. We just want to buy it now. Okay, when we look at it now, at the end of the day, the bigger one, due to this, the diesel price and everything that has gone really crazy, we have to buy a smaller generator and leave the bigger one, so that we can manage the smaller one just to take some of the parts, like light and small things that is needed, and leave. So we occasionally use the big one if it's really, really important and we must have everything on. So we go that. But if I had to go the other way, I think that instead of investing all those money into that generator, I could have invested half of that money, had some money to eat, invested out of that money on solar. So that means that I will buy a lower generator, that is, the power is not as high as the what we have now, and I will spend half of that money on solar. So then we'll divide all the electricity things there. Some will be going on solar, some will go on electricity, normal electricity that we'll be able to use with generator to manage it. That could have been the best choice ever to go with, but instead we invested all those money in generator, and at the end of the day, the money that you're not spending for gasoline, diesel, all that story becomes too expensive. And when the NEPA bills come to your doorstep, then in a month you almost using 300,000 to run just the electricity. So when you have 300,000 to run just the electricity, you have workers, you have a lot of other things that comes with it. At the end of the day, sometimes small businesses, they shut down. They just shut down because they cannot take it anymore. Because especially in the first few years, when they have to manage to keep that business going. In the first few years, when they have to hold on for things to get known by people, for things to fall into position, for things, because sometimes with business, the way you planned it, it gets a little bit different from the old thing when you are actually on the ground. When you're actually doing it, there are just things that you think you could have done different, things that you think you wanted to change and all. So all the challenges start coming. So when those challenges are coming, for you facing it, a lot of people get really stressed. A lot of people can get really depressed in this process. So it's really, really important that when you're starting a business, especially that type that is really needing electricity to an extent, you really have to be Think twice, calculate, be very clever about it so that you don't make any mistake, because that can be the worst mistake ever, and that can really just ruin your whole business down because of the cost of running that business before things get settled. So if you're thinking that you want to have a generator, depending on the business you're doing, I think invest half of that money in solar. Every electricity have its own challenges. Even the solar have its own challenges because of the battery or something that might go wrong. But you have to do that because it's just the best way to go. So you don't invest all the money on one thing and you start regretting it. So like we've invested in that generator. I think we could have done it differently. Take that money into two. One on solar, so that solar can run some of the things there, and one we can put on normal electricity and generator. So at now the cost of it is just too much to handle, that we are not having the opinion and said, okay, maybe since we didn't do it the way we were supposed to do it, maybe it's also time, because it's never too late, maybe it's time to reset the generator for people that need bigger generator, and not use half of that money to run solar while we keep another smaller generator to manage just to hold the business going. So those are two things that I really want you to look into, which is really, really important. One is, when looking for a place, find out who was there before, how much they were paying, if they have any agreement with the NEPA, if there was anything at all going on. That is really important for you to find out, so that you don't take what is left over, all the troubles that is there, everything that comes with it, so it doesn't just be, it will just be transferred to you. So it's really, really important to find out that part. Then the second part is that instead of you investing all the money on buying a bigger plant, a bigger diesel generator, I think you should think about buying lower ones and see how you can manage the one with less kVA. Then you can invest half of that money into solar to be able to manage from time to time. So I think that is just the best way to go. If you have any experience and you think you want to share it with me, please feel free to leave a message or even call me. For me, this is my own experience. When you experience something, it's also good to say something. Just say it out, because there are new people that are planning to do something every day. There are new people that wants to open something. There are new youths that are coming up, and they need to know these things. They need to know the experience that somebody else has gone through. They need to know what somebody as experience, so that they use that to learn, and they use that as the starting point in doing whatever they want to do. So it's good to tell the story. It's good to say it out, especially the challenges that we go through in business, so that other people can learn from it and they can think about, okay, and you also give advice. Tell if the way you have done it, if there was another better way you could have done it, then you have to say it out, so that you give people, the new people that is about to start something to think about, and something to just think about and know how they can start, or the way they are going to do it. Because a lot of business in Nigeria is like people coming out to tell you there's so much money in this, there's so much money in this, when you do this, oh bam, you just get it. But the challenges, they don't tell the challenges. So the challenges is the most important part to tell when in business, the challenges you go through. So we should learn how to be telling the challenges. It's not because we are scaring people, because some people believe that when you're telling the challenges, you're scaring people. No. That is not how to, you're not scaring people with the challenges. You're telling them to get ready. You're telling them because you want them to plan. You're telling them because you want them to think far. You're telling them because you want the difficulties that comes after, they should be able to avoid a bit of it. That's why you're telling it. That's why you're saying it. This is what I went through. This is the difficult part. This is the difficult part. Many people don't want to say the difficult part. They just think that, oh, people will think that they are just trying to tell them not to do business. They will just say they are trying to discourage them. No, it's not a discouragement. It's a place of telling a person, get prepared, work on this, think fast, do this plan, and do all these things before you get there. So thank you, everyone. Don't forget to leave a message. Thank you for today. Please help us share our video. Thanks to everyone. We appreciate you guys that you've been helping us to share our video. You've been following us, and you're giving us the strength to keep on doing what we're doing. We, the team of Visit Edo, we have big plans. I, especially the CEO of Visit Edo, I have big plans. I have big plans. There's just so much that I would love to do in Benin. There's so much that I would love to do in Edo State. But like they said, step by step. We all know Nigeria. Sometimes you can rush it. So you just have to take it step by step, gradually, and you get there. Nigeria is not a rush matter. If you want to rush in, you're going to rush out. So you take it step by step. People get used to you. People now know what you're doing. People will now know what you're representing. And after that, then things will just start to fall into place. So thank you. Do remember to follow us on YouTube. We still don't have much followers. Please, on YouTube, try and follow us. Wawese Akugbe Oyetin. Wawese.